The specialization is where the money resides. If the promise of your program is something that I can Google the answer to, you're going to have a very difficult time trying to charge premium for it. If you want to charge premium, if you want to surpass six figures, is you have got to stop selling offers that put you in a technician role. You're doing the work for them versus you coaching them on how to do it for themselves. Your ability to convert the client is really dependent on what their level of awareness is and how well you can articulate your value in a way that they can understand. How are we teaching them how to think versus just telling them what to do? You need to learn the skill set of how do I understand what is influencing how this person is making a buying decision, not just overly being the teacher of this is what this person needs to do to get the job. Those same things that qualified you in your career no longer are as important to your consumers when they're making a buying decision. Instead of going to get more coaching certifications, invest in skill development on learning how to market and sell. Stop positioning yourself as the cheapest solution. Stop solving the entry-level problem. Profitable coaching niches who are still selling high-ticket offers. And that context is important because high-ticket offers, the nuance of a business model that is selling something that's more than $3,000 as a primary service, we need to take into consideration what allows that type of business model, which coaches, which offers, which niches make the most money. Because you can make money as a coach, a little extra money every month doing pretty much selling anything. But as you start to elevate the price of your program, as you start to enter into more of that premium priced market, you have to start thinking about what type of offer, what type of promise, what niches actually succeed. Part one, we really talked about business coaches. So if you are a business coach, maybe you viewed yourself as a business mentor, it was a really phenomenal episode breaking down which business coaches are actually the most profitable, which niches are the most profitable. But today I want to go into part two. Because part two, when we think about this type of coach that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, this is all about career coaches. Career coaches that are in niche audiences or serve niche audiences, I tend to see have a lot of success when it comes to them being able to surpass $200,000 in annual revenue and charge premium for their services. And one thing that I have noticed a lot with the career coaching clients that I've worked with, that I've supported, is that there's always this tough line of demarcation between being other people perceiving them as just another resume writer. And no shade to the resume writers that are listening to this, okay? It's no shade to the resume writers in the industry. But when you're trying to charge premium, you want to make sure that how are you positioning yourself to be perceived as something more than just a resume writer. Because if you are a career coach, you know that if you're trying to help somebody achieve a promotion, have an advancement opportunity in their career, their ability to succeed is dependent on so much more than just the words on their resume. The resumes are a component, but that's a technician role. And when you start to position yourself as a coach, where you want to be paid as a coach, get paid premium for your offers, be perceived that way, this is what I really want us to break down of how do you start to elevate your positioning around that, not just get perceived as I'm the person that will update your LinkedIn bio, or I'm the person that you can hire to update your LinkedIn banner, or I'm the person that can update your resume and your CV letter. And like, that's the only thing that's required. And I know if you are a career coach, you are tired of people reaching out to you expecting that they're going to that your services are going to be $30 an hour, expecting that your services is going to be $200 for a 3-month engagement. I know that you're tired of being perceived that way. And I have worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of career coaches. There's something that separates them from the pack of how they're able to start to position themselves to be perceived as a premium priced offer and to also surpass multi-six figures in revenue. The thing that was very correlated to even business coaches, the thing that's really common between even business coaches and career coaches is both categories of clientele. They're looking for either an advancement opportunity or what they're trying to do. It's very tangible from a money perspective. If you're a career coach, people are probably hiring you to help them achieve a promotion, help them transition careers, help them navigate and move into a new category, use their transferable skills to get them a job in another industry. There is something correlated to money. And when you are positioning yourself as a career coach, it's so important for you to understand there's always a bottom line at hand. If you're career coaching an individual who's trying to advance themselves, there's a bottom line to their salary, to their benefits, to their earning potential. If you're coaching as a career coach or an executive coach and you're coaching somebody more on soft skills, more leadership, more management, more internal support, there's still a bottom line impact as to how the work that they're doing contributes to the bottom line of the company that they're leading or managing in. So when you're positioning yourself as a career coach, and where I have seen the most profitable career coaches succeed selling high ticket and surpassing six figures, is career coaches that serve niche audiences. You're going to hear me say niche audience, specialized skill set over and over and over again, because that is where the money resides, okay? The specialization is where the money resides. And the reason why I say that is when people come to me and they're career coaches and they're like, well, I help people get a promotion. Great. You're now talking to every single person that's employed who doesn't want a promotion. But you have to start to where we've noticed the clients that, again, have been able to charge the most and succeed beyond multi-six figures are the individuals that are career coaches that are serving a specialized audience. So an example of what I mean for that, one of our amazing clients, program coaches, Keisha, she's a career coach for human resource professionals, HR. Okay. That is a niche within the career coaching space. We have one client. She was a client of ours for over a year. She was able to surpass probably $300,000 or $400,000 in annual revenue by specializing to a niche audience, serving product managers, Black female product managers at that. We've seen really great career coaches succeed serving academic researchers, HR professionals, product managers, serving the demographic of lawyers, women of color in tech and high tech roles, VC funded startup CEOs. What ends up happening when people try to classify themselves as career coaches and they start to notice, why are they not making more money? Why are they not perceived as an elevated price point? Why is it difficult for them to charge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a service? Is because you're trying to solve a problem that your audience can literally Google the answer to. If the promise of your program is something that I can Google the answer to, you're going to have a very difficult time trying to charge premium for it. If I can go ask ChatGPT the answer, I'm not going to pay you $5,000 for the solution. And I think too many career coaches try to overgeneralize, saying, well, I help people get a promotion. What person? What state? What type of promotion? In what industry? At what point of their career journey are they at where now they need support up leveling? Like, those are the nuances and the specification that I'm talking about. Like, if you're a career coach and you're helping somebody get a promotion, how we can drill that down is I help HR professionals who's had 5 years of experience, who are looking to go from individual contributor to a managerial role. Or I'm coaching women of color engineers who are on the leadership track and are trying to go from director level to the C-suite. Or I'm a career coach for women in aviation who are in the C-suite and now they need to learn executive presence so they can have confidence when they're in the boardroom. Now you see, I picked a specific moment in time for a specific niche audience, addressing a specific career issue that that person has because it's specialized to their point of their journey. And that is really, really important for if you want to charge premium and you want to surpass six figures. I can't Google the answer to how do I, as a woman in aviation, that's a predominantly male field, right? How do I establish executive presence so that I feel comfortable in boardrooms, comfortable communicating? You get what I'm saying? I can't Google the answer to that. The nuance of the problem that I'm dealing with in my career, that information on how to solve it is not easily accessible. That's what allows you to command higher ticket price point for the service that you sell. It also is what differentiates you and creates a line of demarcation between you and everybody else that's just a resume writer. You and everybody else that's just selling another career development course that you know is really just fluff because it's too generalized versus it being specific, nuanced, and specialized. So that's really where we see the clients that are career coaches have a lot of success. So either they are serving a niche demographic around promotions, around career advancement, around elevating in their career, transitioning their career, getting a new position within their career. Or we see career coaches have a lot of success where they also are specializing more so around a skill set development. So when we think about skill set development for career coaches, right, or for individuals who are in a career, I like to look at this as that somebody who's already in the position, they're not necessarily looking to change jobs, but they're looking at how can I get better at the role that I now currently have. We had a client that she works with women of color in the C-suite. Reason being is she's had experience in the C-suite herself for decades. And she started coaching women of color in the C-suite. Once a woman, especially a woman of color, has already achieved C-suite status, there's now these soft skills and these interpersonal skills and this executive presence skills. There are these skill sets to be able to continue to manage and lead at that new level. We had another client that was a career coach for veterans who have recently transitioned back into the workforce, and now they're trying to learn how to manage their teams without the same militant leadership style. It's a nuanced skill set for somebody at a particular point in their career, maybe after they've already been in the position, after they're already transitioned into the role. So those are the two niches that we see being the most profitable. They're specialized in some area, either specialized around the audience that they serve, a specific industry segment, a specific niche within the career industry, or they're specialized in niche down based off the skill set development. And if you are a career coach, start to think about if you keep getting lowballed or people keep getting shocked by your prices, this is where it's like, okay, well, where are you lacking specification? Where are you lacking specialization? Where are you lacking a niche, nuanced aspect of what it is that you are doing? Because right now you might be perceived as the cheap option because the promise of your offer is too broad and too generic. It sounds like something they can Google, so they don't want to pay premium for it. And that's where we have to create that line of demarcation. That's where we need to start shifting your positioning so that you can be perceived at a more premium price. So those are the areas that we see, really, really being able to be successful is picking one segment, okay? Whether that's HR, engineers, women of color in tech, VC funded startups, dealing with 7-figure CEOs, lawyers, academic researchers, like pick a segment or pick a skill set. So we've had quite a few coaches that do more executive coaching or more career coaching around a specific skill set. We have 3 clients right now that are all in the world of academia, and they're helping people get grant funding. So it's a skill set within the career space. So they coach academic researchers on how to get the grant funding for their institution, for the research that they're doing. We have another person in academia who is a career coach helping people self-publish after their dissertations. It's a skill set that allows that individual contributor, that allows that professional to have advancement opportunities. I'm giving a lot of examples because I really want to drive this point home. Specialization is your way to surpass 6 figures. Niching down is your way to be able to charge premium. And I think that a lot of career coaches have some hesitancy with doing that. They have hesitancy with claiming, well, I can't promise this person's going to get the promotion. I can teach them how to navigate the interview process. I can teach them how to navigate the, articulating their skills, but I can't promise the promotion. No, you cannot promise the promotion. But your process, you absolutely can guarantee that your process is the skill sets that they need to get the job. You can absolutely promise that your process is the thing that will support them with that skill set development that they need to do so they can be better in their role. It's still 100% on them to do the work. It's 100% on them to apply. And I think the issue with career coaches is sometimes, let's say your program is 3 months long, you have this fear, this hesitancy that if they don't get the job or don't get the promotion or don't master the skill within the time frame that they're with me, that my program didn't work. I understand that you're probably going to be dealing with clients that are at different seasons that might, one person might be able to get the result while they're working with you. One person might get the result 2 months after working with you. But guess what? If your process was the thing that taught them how to get the result, even if they got it 2 months after the program ended, a lot of their success is still attributed to the skill sets and the curriculum that you taught. So it's still valid. The program still worked. The price is still reflective of the value that's being delivered, even if it took them a little bit longer, because I understand that interview processes can be long. The job hunting process can be long. But if you want to kind of offset that, it's so important for you to properly qualify the lead, properly qualify who is at the right season of their, when they come into the program to be ready to do the work required to get the result in the time frame that your program is promising it. And that's where it's your job to properly qualify the lead. Properly qualify the level of urgency that lead has when they start working with you so that their level of qualification is properly aligned with the duration of your program. So the niching down and the specialization is just critical. It is so critical, especially for career coaches that want to make more money. And that's also what will allow you to stop being perceived as just an hourly I want to pay you $30 an hour to help me, $40 an hour to help me, versus you want to get paid $3,000 or $4,000 based off of value. The other part I want to make sure that we break down for the career coaches that are listening to this, if you want to charge premium, if you want to surpass 6 figures, is you have got to stop selling offers that put you in a technician role. So I think a lot of the time what happens with my career coaches when they start being perceived as the resume writer, or they start being perceived as the LinkedIn person, where people expect that your program or expect that working with you is going to be cheap and inexpensive, it's because you're doing the work for them versus you coaching them on how to do it for themselves. Coaching them through a greater problem, a more significant problem. So if you keep selling offers of, I can either do your resume for $200 or you can join my group program for $3,000, that's going to help you get the job. Don't even offer the other option if that's not how you want to be perceived. Stop even offering the other option, because the issue is, it's not that the value of what you provide isn't there. It's that the awareness level of your consumer is there maybe not be aware of what's really needed to get the result. So if you offer them two options of, here's this cheap option that, yeah, I can do your resume for you, or I can coach you on how to get the job. If your messaging is not tight, your marketing is not tight, if your ability to articulate your value through your content is not there, it's not about you knowing how good you are. Your ability to convert the client is really dependent on what their level of awareness is and how well you can articulate your value in a way that they can understand. So from a consumer's perspective, it's like, oh, I can pay $300 to get my resume updated, or I can pay $3,000 to help me get the job. I think that all I need is just to update my resume to get this promotion. So of course they're going to keep buying the cheaper option. That's because you have not calibrated the value and you have not clearly articulated it at the level of awareness your prospect is at. Messaging for career coaches is so important because those are those things that you need to debunk in your content. Those are the objections that you need to start to overcome and to call out and to demystify within your marketing, within your messaging content, versus you trying to convince somebody that they don't need this on a sales call. If you're convincing somebody that they don't need resume writing to get that executive director position, it's gone. You're not going to close the client. You're not going to close the client, because if you're trying to convince them of that on the sales call, you've started the convincing and the belief shifting too late in the buying journey. That type of stuff should happen in your content. And you should start to create that in your content, address that in your content, and repel people who are not qualified beyond that. Repel those individuals. Your messaging is critical in the career coaching space. It's critical in any industry. But especially if you keep being perceived as a cheap option, that lets me believe that your messaging is continuing. Like, most career coaches just create a bunch of how-to content. And they wonder why they keep getting individuals who want to hire them for cheap how-to solutions. Because you keep creating how-to content. The messaging of your content that is attracting the leads to even book a call with you, y'all, it's literally searchable SEO content that's how to tweak your resume. You're worth it. Command more. Go back and negotiate a raise. Like, it's too tactical. It's too how-to. It's not enough. We need to address more sophisticated beliefs. How are we teaching them how to think versus just telling them what to do? I think my career coaches in particular have a different learning gap when it comes to that versus like my business coaches, because career coaches are not taught how to market. Career coaches, in their career experience, a lot of the career coaches, you guys had success in your career, so now you're turning around and coaching other people how to do it. You know how to provide the deliverables. You understand how to navigate the cultural dynamic in the corporate environment. You know how to actually get them a promotion, help them navigate the internal corporate politics. What you don't know how to do yet is how to message and how to market. It's a skill set that you haven't really honed yet. So of course, the type of content that you create is very tactical, how to surface level messaging, surface level content, because you just don't have that skill set. You know how to advocate for yourself in a boardroom, but you haven't yet learned how to articulate your value in a piece of content. So if you're a career coach, one of the best things that you can invest in, if you notice that you keep attracting people who think that your stuff should be way cheaper than what it is, I mean, significantly cheaper. If you're having a difficult time attracting qualified leads, it's because you need to learn the skill set of messaging. You need to learn the skill set of how do I understand what is influencing how this person is making a buying decision, not just overly being the teacher of this is what this person needs to do to get the job. Those are two different skill sets. Like the career coaches that I know develop some of the best curriculum. They are beasts. I mean, they are so good at getting the client the results, helping them navigate their career, helping them get the promotion. They are so good at it. The biggest gap that they have is now I need to take off my coaching hat and I need to put on my marketer hat. You haven't learned how to be a marketer yet. That's the only reason why you're having a difficult time attracting enough qualified leads that want to pay and are willing to pay the premium price of your program. Because there's just a marketing disconnect. You haven't learned that skill set yet. So the biggest thing that we need to do is you need to start developing your sales skills. You know how to sell yourself in an interview, but I need you to learn how the messaging of how do you enroll somebody into making a decision. That's a different skill set. It's a different skill set. There's some transferable skills that will make you successful with sales, but once you can see that paradigm shift and once you can learn the skill set of messaging, it'll be game over for you. You'll win. You will win. I know that you know how to sell yourself, but now we need to learn how do you articulate your value to enroll somebody else into making a decision to hire you. It's a different skill set. And I think what ends up happening is too many career coaches apply their internal corporate sales skills into their external marketing for their business. And that's where there's a disconnect. Because you're very good at using the right words, the right languaging to navigate whoever's interviewing you to get the job. But hold on now, that's not the same type of messaging. That's not the same type of sales skills that you need to get the coaching clients. It's a different dynamic. It's a different dynamic. And what ends up happening too for a lot of career coaches is their own self-identity. You know how to advocate for yourself to get the job. And there's a lot of confidence that career coaches have, especially from their previous corporate experience, because you know how to navigate and dominate when you have this Fortune 500 company name on your back. It's like, I'm Jereshia of this Fortune 500 company. You have the gravitas and the prestige attached to the corporate institution that you came from. The issue is that when you start to sell yourself as an individual, you lose your sense of self-confidence. Because before you were advocating, selling, going out, crushing it, doing all the things when you were an employee with the backing of your title. Oh, I'm an executive director. You get what I'm saying? And this is very true for my career coaches and very true for anybody that comes from a very high level of success in their corporate profession. When they start to transition into coaching, there's this identity navigation they have to go through because your title doesn't matter as a business owner. Your title doesn't matter anymore. What company you worked at doesn't really matter anymore. The degrees that you have don't really matter anymore. Those extra certifications you have don't even matter anymore. When those individuals start transitioning and now they're a career coach, it's like all the things that gave you your confidence, your degree, your title, your company that you worked for, your certifications, those built up your confidence. Now, when you start coaching for yourself, you don't have any of those accolades to lean on. So what I end up seeing a lot of career coaches doing is before they learn the art of selling, they start getting certified as coaches. They start feeling and believing that they have to go get all these external validation to validate them that they're qualified enough to now start coaching other people. I know I'm talking to somebody. Before you knew how to navigate corporate, you're like, okay, I have to go get the college degree. I have to go get the MBA. I have to go get the certification. I have to go get the PMP. I have to go get the PE. I have to go pass the bar. I have to go do all these things. I have to go get the title. I know you know. And then when you start to build your own business, you feel like you need some, let me call it what it is. You need some white male institution to give you a stamp of approval to tell you that you're good enough to do this for yourself. That's what I see happen with my career coaches more than anything else. That imposter syndrome and that external validation prevents them from self-identifying, claiming who they are, and proclaiming that publicly in their content, having certainty when they start selling themselves, which ends up causing them to lowball their prices in the beginning. It ends up causing them to take the lowest denominator work available. It causes them to only go after the cheapest problem that they know how to solve. It's like you were this executive director in corporate America. Please tell me why you are starting a business, selling an offer that's an entry-level solution. You have 15 years of experience being a chief financial officer. Please tell me why when you come into career coaching and you're supporting other people, why are you starting at the bottom of the totem pole? Why are you unwilling to claim your results publicly? Why are you unwilling to own the 15 years of expertise that you have and coach people who are at your level or close to your level versus y'all go all the way back down to the bottom? You over here trying to help interns get first job out of college. Can we please leave that to the admin team? Like, why is that the first solution you want to solve? Because especially my corporate individuals, they no longer have those accolades that made them feel successful in corporate. None of that stuff. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it's not the first thing that your clients think about when they're making a buying decision. They're not necessarily thinking about, did you go to Harvard? Were you Ivy League grad? What was your GPA? Those same things that qualified you in your career no longer are as important to your consumers when they're making a buying decision. The thing with the career coaches that I see, and if you are a career coach, I encourage you to, instead of spinning your wheels getting more certifications that qualify you as a coach, if you are a mentor, a leader, at any capacity in your corporate world, you've been coaching the entire time. You know how to coach. If you had to develop a team internally, if you were a good manager, you've been coaching the entire time. You know how to coach people. Instead of going to get more coaching certifications, invest in skill development on learning how to market and sell. That's your only disconnect. And stop being broad and generic. Stop positioning yourself as the cheapest solution. Stop solving the entry-level problem. And niche down and own an area of specialization correlated to the experience that you have. That's what will separate you. That's what will allow you to charge premium. That's what will position you so that you can surpass six figures. A lot of career coaches can make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 extra a year doing all the opposite. But if you want to surpass multi-six, we need to own your area of specialization. That was the same thing that made you successful in your corporate career. You had an area of specialization. You were probably a subject matter expert in something, which is what allowed you to advance. You were excellent at something specific for a specific niche, a specific industry, and a specific job role. That's what allowed you to succeed in your corporate world. That same level of specialization is what's going to allow you to succeed in your own business as a coach. Just the disconnect here, the only skill that you do not need another coaching certification. You need a skill development of learning how to sell, understand the psychology of how buyers make decisions, understanding messaging, understanding how do I articulate myself through my content versus how do I articulate myself through a resume. And that's where you can really unlock financial success for yourself. That's where you can really unlock your ability to build a multi-six-figure career coaching business for yourself by you getting the skill of selling and messaging and you specializing the offers, specializing your programs, and making sure that they're properly positioned when you're putting yourself out there. So that's part 2, y'all, of the most profitable coaching niches with high ticket offers that are surpassing six figures. The next episode, we're going to go into part 3. We're going to be breaking down another super profitable coaching niche. So I'm really excited for the next episode that we're going to be getting into. The next 2 episodes are going to be getting into some additional coaching niches that do really, really well. Part 3, we're going to be talking about health, wellness, relationship coaches. If you know somebody that knows somebody, tell them to go listen to part 3 or come back for part 3 because it's going to get even better. All right, y'all. Let's see if anybody have questions. I got any career coaches in the room that got any questions? Any questions about, I see the comments are going galore. I see Keisha is in the room, y'all. If y'all do not follow Keisha Hicks, get your life together. Keisha is absolutely phenomenal. She's a career coach for HR professionals. She's also a program coach inside of Leverage. She is the bee's knees. But she is somebody, if you want to see how it's done, go follow her. Go follow her. Somebody asked, what was part 1? Part 1 was all about business coaches and which aspect of business coaching is the most profitable. So part 1 was business coaches. Part 2 is career coaches. Part 3, we're going to be talking about health, wellness, and relationship coaches. More of the, emotional side of things, but how they can charge premium and surpass six figures. Kimmer said, how niche down should you go? I think that most people, you can't get too niche. Because Out of the thousands of clients I've coached, I have never met anybody that's been too niche. The biggest thing is that when you want to charge premium, and I have to contextualize that over and over again, when you want to charge premium, you need to focus on a minimum viable audience. So when you think about premium products in any industry, they serve a minimum viable audience. They do not try to take up the entire market share of that industry. If you think about smartphones, iPhone is so successful because they are serving a minimum viable audience. They're not like Metro PCS where they're trying to create the cheapest phone for everybody. Any industry that's on the premium end, they serve a minimum viable audience. And that's all that matters. I think some of us have this fear that if we niche down too much, we're going to leave money on the table. But the reality is you're not trying to build $1 billion business tomorrow. Most of y'all are trying to make $50,000 next year. $100,000 next year. Really do the math. You don't need a large audience to make $100,000 when you're charging $3,000 per client. Let's say if you charge $3,000 per client, you need 30 clients to make $90,000. I don't need you to find 3,000 people to say yes to you. Just find 30. And the more specialized and niche down you are, the easier it will be. And I think something else that we have to take into consideration around why specialization is so important is because you are in the education space. As coaches, we are in the online education, online information. That's the industry and market that we play in. And I want you to think about the last program that you bought. I literally asked my clients today, what was the reason why you chose to enroll in my program versus enrolling in somebody else's? And the thing that they said over and over and over and over and over again is because your offer was so specific to the exact problem that I was trying to solve right now. That was why they were willing to invest $4,000, $15,000, $30,000 to work with me, because the offer that you were selling was so specific to the problem that I was trying to address. So when we think about even why you choose to buy, when you choose to buy a house, you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a house. The reason why you pick the house that you choose to buy is because it is so specific to the needs and the wants of what you want to have in your home. That's why you're willing to spend the money on the house. You're willing to pay 6 figures for a house because it is specific to your needs. So when you're charging premium and you're thinking about, oh gosh, I'm worried about niching down too much, I want you to think about the niching in the sense of, I want to be so specific to the specific problem at the specific moment in time that my person has, and then I just need to find those people. I need to create content that attracts those people. I don't need a large audience to surpass 6 figures. Let me know if you think this is realistic. If you're like, okay, Jay, I had to work with 30 people to make that are at $3,000 a piece. I made $90,000. Does that seem doable? Does that seem doable? You know, if I was like, okay, we're going to now go to $200,000, and let's say you're charging $5,000 per client, that's only 40 people. I'm not asking you to find 400. I'm not asking you to find 4,000. I'm asking you to find 20, 30, 40 people at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at a price point. That is within reach for every single person listening to this episode. That is in reach for you. And to me, and the last thing I'll say about this is where anybody has hesitancy with niching down, it takes just as much effort to sell a $50 offer, same amount of effort to sell a $5,000 offer. The same amount of work that you're going to put in to build an audience to buy your $30 resume writing thing or your $300 LinkedIn profile audit, it takes just as much effort from you as a business owner to get somebody to pay $300 for a LinkedIn audit as it will take you to find a client to pay $3,000 for a comprehensive coaching program. It's the same effort. So at the end of the day, I'm like, well, if it's the same effort, I might as well shoot for the bigger dollar amount. I might as well solve the bigger problem because my experience better lends to that. And I think the last thing here about niching down is you have to pay attention to where is your expertise level at? Do you have an area of specialization that is in demand? That's what it really boils down to. Great question though. Should I have different offers for different people at different seasons of their careers? That depends on the season of business that you are in. I am not in the very beginning. Like if you're making less than, I would need to contextualize a little bit of kind of where you're at, asking this question. But I am a firm believer that you do not need to sell multiple offers before you're making six figures because you don't have the capacity to do it. So let's say you have 2 offers or 3 offers. You have an offer that's $30, you have an offer that's $300, and you have an offer that's $3,000. Yes, your audience, that's an offer that serves them at every stage of their journey. That is true. But if you are publicly marketing all 3, you are causing confusion to your audience because the buyer, the psychology, I want you to pay attention to the psychology of the buyer that needs a $30 product that you're selling is a very different psychology of buyer that is going to pay the $3,000. So if you are trying to create content publicly marketing and selling both of these things, and let's say you're making less than $200,000 a year, I guarantee that you're going to cause confusion in your marketing because you don't have the capacity or the audience size to successfully attract both. Because that person may not need both, but the psychology of how they make buying decisions is totally different. The people who join my program Leverage, totally different psychology of buyer than the person that buys my $37 program Promise workshop. You get what I'm saying? It's not about what you sell, it's about where you sell it. It's about where you sell it. What gets sold publicly versus what gets offered privately. And this is where I don't see enough business coaches breaking this down because there's a lot of coaches out there that says build an offer suite, have 3 different offers, have offers that serve your clients at every stage of the journey. But if you look at those same people giving you that advice, what is the thing they market publicly? They market their high ticket offer publicly. And flipping the funnel, I think, is the smartest thing for you to do if you don't have a large audience, but you have a specialized skill set. Because I'd rather you spend the time, again, going back to what I said, it takes the same amount of effort to sell a $300 offer as the same amount of effort to sell a $3,000 offer. So I would anchor my messaging about what I talk about publicly on a regular cadence, what I promote on a regular cadence. I would do it around the high ticket thing. I would flip the funnel. Instead of me promoting my $30, let me break it down like this. If I create a year's worth of marketing content to try to sell my $30 digital product, right? $30, my $300 digital product. My messaging is going to speak at the psychology level of the person that wants to buy the $300 thing. The person that needs the $3,000 thing, they are going to assume that you are not for them. That, oh, I'm already past that. I don't need them. Because you keep messaging at the $300 level versus at the problem that the $3,000 person has. All of your messaging should be going after the biggest fish that you're trying to convert, not the entry level person. Because the person that's willing to pay the $3,000, the $4,000, the $5,000, the $6,000, they want specificity. They want to know that the problem that you solve is the exact issue that they have. They want specificity. So if you are not being specific in your messaging, when people tell me, this happens every time, clients will enroll in our program, they're like, my Olympian isn't in my audience. I'm like, your Olympian is absolutely there. You just have not been talking to them. They do not know that you are for them because you are not speaking to the problem that they have. You're speaking to the problem that the entry-level person has. And they're beyond the entry level. They don't need issues. They don't have that issue. So of course, I'm going to bypass you and think that you aren't for me because you aren't for me based off of your messaging. You aren't for me based off of how you keep positioning yourself. You keep positioning yourself as a broad, generalized solution. I'm not paying premium for broad and generalized. I'm paying premium for specific and specialized. And that's where the line of demarcation is. And honestly, the best thing I can also tell you to do is go look at your cash flow. What offer have you sold that has been the most profitable? For most people who try to sell, who are making less than multi-six figures a year, for most people that I've seen, the clients that I've worked with, when I'm making 100,000, I'm making 200,000, I'm making 300,000. I'm like, which offer is the most profitable? Which offer that you currently sell right now makes up 70% of your annual revenue? Every single time they all say my high ticket offer, my high ticket offer, my high ticket offer. Then I say, why are you spending more energy, effort, and time trying to market this low ticket thing instead of putting all that energy and attention on your high ticket offer? You putting all this energy around some $37 a month membership that nobody is buying. But your most profitable offer is your $4,000 program. Let's go all in on that. Versus you trying to make both work. Just let the bottom go. That little $200 you make in a month right now really ain't even it when you over here enrolling clients at $4,000. You get what I'm saying? So pay attention to what's most profitable for you. And if you're making less than multi six figures, double down on that. Go all in on that. All of your messaging, all of your content, everything needs to go all in on that because that's where the money is. And quite honestly, again, for most of you guys, it's going to be easier for you to sell the more sophisticated solution than it is going to be for you to sell the cheap thing. And for majority of you listening to this, that's what your cash flow is already telling you, but you just keep living in denial about it. Because some coach or somebody or some mentor that you look up to told you to say you have to sell some $37 thing before you can ever offer somebody something for $3,000. I'm here to tell you that is not true. But that's not always the truth. Because I even look at myself, I look at my clients, we tell everybody, flip the funnel. Start with your most expensive thing first. Surpass 6 figures with your most expensive thing. And then we can start talking about building out your offer suite, but not until then. Because you can get to 6 figures and multi 6 figures selling your premium offer. You're going to work with better clients. It's going to be more fun for you to solve and support them. And it's going to be easier to sell. Okay, that was a great question. And again, all the advice I'm giving right now, guys, is within the realm of career coaching. Okay? Who are selling value-based packages and value-based pricing. Love it, love it, love it. Keisha said, it's not super target, it's boutique. Yes, baby. Yes. Yes, your offer should be meant for one specific person at a specific moment in time around a specific problem that they're trying to solve. Love it. I see somebody saying my offer is around marriage. Come to part 3. Part 3, we're going to be talking about wellness, health, and relationship coaches. Somebody said I'm still struggling with niching. This really resonated though. I need to go back and reflect. Love it. I see somebody saying my offer is around marriage. Come to part 3. Part 3, we're going to be talking about wellness, health, and relationship coaches. So anybody that's already making more than $50,000 a year, you're already booked out with private one-on-one and you're trying to transition into group delivery, I encourage you to apply for my program Leverage. Enrollment is currently open. We are taking applications. I highly encourage you to apply, because we would love to support you with clarifying your offer, refining your messaging, dialing in your program promise, and elevating your business model so that you can transition to a one-to-many model. So you can just DM me, direct message me the word apply, APPLY, and Betty the bot will send you the link to be able to submit your application. So that's what I would highly recommend that you guys do if you are in that position. If you're not in that position and you are like, I just need help with I'm less than $50,000 a year annually, direct message me the word niche, NICHE, for anybody that needs to work on their program promise. Because Betty the bot will also send you the guide to get my niche PDF guide about how to niche down to charge premium. I think a program promise is new for a lot of us, because when we think about coaching, we're like, oh, my offer is coaching. I'm a coach. No, that's your title. That's not the problem that you solve. And if you want to charge premium, you need to be able to articulate and define what the problem actually is that people are paying to solve. They're not just paying access to you as a coach. They're not just paying you to ask them good questions. They're paying you to walk them through a process to achieve a particular result. And when you can calibrate the expectations that your clients have with what they can expect to learn and achieve while they're working with you, that level of clear expectation communicates clear confidence. And the level of that confidence is what allows you to raise the price of your program. There are a lot of coaches out there who teach to sell low ticket offer and then go high ticket. It does not resonate with me. I mean, listen, everything works. Low ticket business models work. Walmarts exist. Anything can work. The biggest thing I think that's most important that you guys hear me say over and over and over again, is like Jereshia said, anything can work. But it's really important for you to understand what business model works the best for you. What business model works the best for the problem that you are solving in your industry. Because depending on the problem that you solve, that is what dictates the business model that you should go after. So again, if you have an area of expertise, you've gotten real results, and you are trying to now teach and coach somebody else how to do that, if it's a more sophisticated problem, I would not put low sophistication messaging and marketing to try to sell that. The more sophisticated, the more specialized, the more nuanced the problem is that you know how to solve, the more premium you need to be charging. But what ends up happening is people try to charge premium, selling a sophisticated, specialized offer using low ticket sales strategies. It doesn't work, because it's a different business model. So different business models require different marketing, different messaging, different sales process, different operations, different everything. Apple markets differently than Walmart. Ferrari markets differently than Toyota. Tesla markets differently than Ford. Even though they both sell cars, they're selling to a different buyer. And because they're selling to a different buyer, the psychology of that buyer, different things are influencing how that individual makes a buying decision. So since there's different things influencing how that person makes a buying decision, their marketing and messaging and sales process has to be different. If you go to McDonald's and they're selling you a $9 meal, that entire marketing and sales process is totally different than if you're going to a 5-star Michelin restaurant with your spouse on Valentine's Day. Totally different experience, totally different expectation of you. You're still the same person. You went to McDonald's yesterday, but tomorrow you go on a Michelin star. But how you made the decision to make that investment, to make that purchase is night and day different. When you were going to McDonald's, you were probably buying out of convenience. When you go to that Michelin star restaurant, you're buying because of the experience. You're buying because of the quality of food you're going to get. You're buying because of the memorable moment that you're going to be able to have with your partner or your spouse or whoever you're going to dinner with. When you go to McDonald's, you do not care about the experience. They don't even say my pleasure at the end. You're just praying that the food that you ordered is actually what you get in your bag. When you ask for both barbecue and honey mustard, you're checking your bag to make sure that you got both sauces that you asked for. That's your level of expectation. So that's why McDonald's will market and sell totally different than a Michelin star restaurant will market and sell. The experience is different because the psychology of you, even though you're one person, the psychology of how you make those buying decisions is totally different. And the same thing is true for you as a business owner. When you are trying to solve a more sophisticated problem, a more nuanced issue for your career coaching clients, your marketing and your messaging and your sales process needs to align with that. Not align with the buying decision criteria of the person buying a $30, $40, $50, $100 product. That's the biggest thing. If you serve everyone, you're not serving no one. That is true. You end up serving people, but usually it's really difficult. It's a grueling process to get the right people in the door. That's the other thing, is that when you start to elevate the price of your program, you don't want to just work with everybody. How many people here have had and enrolled a client into their program and it was terrible because they were unqualified? They were not a good fit. But you took them because they could pay. You took them because you gave them a discount, gave them some scholarship fund that you made up. It's like, bro, you were not even a nonprofit. What you over here offering scholarship funds for? You offer some scholarship or some discount and they enrolled and they were a complete headache. Yeah, they were a client, but they weren't a good fit. They were not qualified. They were not an ideal client. They were just a client that could pay. And as you start to charge premium, you're not for everybody. And that's okay. That is okay. You do not have to be for everybody. And quite honestly, you shouldn't be for everybody. You gave her a full refund because it wasn't worth the headache. You specializing will also allow you to be more stringent with your qualifications. And you being more stringent with your qualifications allows you to ensure it's a good relationship both ways, that you're working with the right people and it's enjoyable for you, that you can actually help them, that they actually want to be helped. And also it ensures that you enroll the right people because now you're able to qualify them. If you're unwilling to specialize, then it's going to be really difficult for you to properly qualify your lead. Because if you don't know what your program promises and you don't know who it's specifically designed for, you don't know how to qualify who's good and who isn't. And then you find out after you get the money. You find out after they enroll in the program. And they're over here expecting you to show up to the interview with them. It's like, hold on, sis. That's not what you signed up for. Okay? Okay. So that was part 2 of this series. I hope you've been enjoying it. Part 3 will be coming tomorrow. Turn your notifications on, okay? Period, poo. Tomorrow will be part 3, and we're going to be talking all about health, wellness, and relationship coaches. That's the 3rd most profitable niche that we've seen inside of our program, the health, wellness, and relationship coaches. But we're going to talk about what niche within those segments are very profitable and also what prevents health, wellness, and relationship coaches from surpassing $200,000, because that's a huge dynamic. Huge dynamic. So if you're a health, wellness, or relationship coach, make sure you tune into part 3. Bring your friends, okay? Bring your friends. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Just turn your notifications on and all of that. And I'm screenshotting some of these questions because I will answer them later. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will chat with y'all later. Bye, y'all. If you liked the video you just watched, click this one. You might like it even more. Go ahead, check it out.